This is 7 News, the voice of the border.
Tonight, the border in North East celebrates a race that stops the nation.
An alleged shooter and his accomplice appear in court.
And Yarrawonga's splash park closes suddenly after children are injured.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. Pubs and clubs around the border were packed with racegoers this afternoon for the race that stops the nation.
Punters were there for a win, while some were out just to have some fun with mates.
While capital cities across Australia celebrated Melbourne Cup Day in style, the border in North East followed suit.
Cheers! Good luck, everyone!
Punters set out to watch the horse racing.
It's one of the hardest races to bet on, so you either go colours or names, so I like Serpentine.
With their own hunches about winners.
I'm backing my favourite jockey, Zach Burton. I've already had a good win on him.
I've had a little bit of a decent bet on the top weight, last year's winner, Gold Trip.
I back Gold Trip.
I'm going Military Mission.
So I'm going Heartbreak because it's the story of my life, so I've decided that's what I'm going for. I'm just here for the fun.
This year, Prosecco and prawns were on the menu at Church Street Hotel, Wodonga.
I'm behaving myself. These other guys here started out with Prosecco, so we'll see where the prawns and Prosecco take us.
Meanwhile, at the Wodonga Service Club,
tables and that are decked out. We've also got first prize best dressed female and best dressed male. So we've got a couple of judges to be able to do that. So hopefully we'll see how that goes today. There's a few weird dresses out there.
I went to Lowe's and picked the shiniest thing I could get.
Anticipation hit fever pitch for the centrepiece race at 3 p.m. 24 horses competing for the $8 million Melbourne Cup.
Without a fight, he's the best stayer in the country, without a doubt. He completes the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double, and what a ride it was to Mark Zara.
Rochelle Pudikovic, 7 News.
The Reserve Bank of Australia has hit borrowers with a Melbourne Cup Day interest rate rise. It's the first rate rise in 5 months. Rochelle Pudikovic is here with us now. And Rochelle, what more can you tell us?
Home buyers and businesses are yet again battling to keep their heads above water. The RBA has lifted the nation's cash rate by 25 basis points. For someone with a $500,000 loan, today's rise will add an extra $76 a month. Rates are now the highest they've been in 12 years, something local real estate agents say are having a big impact.
Well, it just makes the idea of buying a home further and further away. Not really looking forward to it, I suppose.
I can see how it will affect people in the country. You know, people are already struggling as it is.
It is being described as another burden in the cost of living crisis.
OK, thanks, Rochelle. That's Rochelle Pudikovic reporting for us tonight.
A man accused of attempted murder fronted court in Albury for the first time today, facing 10 charges in relation to last week's shooting in Thaguna. His alleged accomplice, a 25-year-old Sydney woman, attended court too, driving from Sydney to face the magistrate in person.
Police allege 25-year-old Charlene Cranshaw was present at a daylight shooting in Thaguna. An accomplice to the accused Shannon Bush, she travelled from Sydney to front court in person today. The court heard she's on bail for other matters and lifted her regular 8 o'clock curfew so she could travel back home tonight. Shannon Lee Bush allegedly attempted to murder a man, shooting him with a pistol, leaving the 26-year-old victim with a bullet wound through his hand and injuries to his shoulder. Ms Cranshaw and Mr Bush were arrested last week, more than 1,000 kilometres from the crime scene. It's alleged they travelled by car to Maxville on the state's north coast. Police released footage as they investigated the incident last week, which sent a local childcare centre into lockdown. 25-year-old Charlene Cranshaw is charged as an accessory to the crime and is out on bail. Bush is facing 10 charges, including attempted murder, armed robbery and 8 other firearm offences. Mr Bush appeared via video link with what looked to be a black eye. He was refused bail and will remain in custody until the next 2 court dates in December and January next year. Jacqueline Stanley, 7 News.
Well, there will be further delays in repairing the bridge over the Rising Sun Creek on Beechworth-Wodonga Road. A temporary bridge has been put in place since culverts were damaged at Easter. Regional Roads Victoria is assessing heritage status before any new bridge can be approved. The temporary bridge operates on one lane with traffic lights at each end.
A brand new splash park on Yarrawonga's foreshore has left children with cuts and bruises. After being in the works for 12 months, it was open for less than a day.
The new splash park, a belly flop, at least a year in the making, but closed after less than 24 hours.
Came down Saturday expecting to see kids everywhere because it was such a beautiful day and got greeted with barriers.
In what would usually be a hotspot on Melbourne Cup Day, the Yarrawonga Splash Park is empty, and not because of the weather.
Within, 12 hours or whatever, realised that their children were being sliced to pieces by the unsafe surface. In some areas smooth, in some areas glassy.
After 12 months of construction and a price tag of $500,000, the splash park on the Lake Mulwala foreshore finally opened on Friday, but that didn't last long. It was closed after multiple reports of children being injured after playing at the park.
That's just not good enough. Why wasn't that tested properly by not only the administrators but also by the builders?
Many residents have taken to Facebook saying children shouldn't have been left to be the guinea pigs. Others saying a 2-year-old was left with scrapes on her legs and narrowly missed hitting her head when she slipped over. Other children were left badly grazed, saying it should never have been open until it was safe.
We got down here, we couldn't believe our eyes. It's all roped off and signs up, closed until further notice.
Moira Shire Council says a slip resistance test was successfully completed before the park was opened. They've assured further inspections will now take place, but it's not clear how long that will take and when the park will be back up and running.
It's a key link into the future of the Christmas period, and it's just so disappointing to see it closed off and not even fenced off appropriately.
Moira Council says it's working to reopen the park as soon as possible in time for summer. Claire Sienta, 7 News.
Health officials are warning of a new COVID wave that is expected to get worse over the festive season. GPs are reminding people about vaccination boosters, while aged care centres say it's not a time to be complacent.
An 8th wave of COVID is crashing onto Australia's shores just in time for the holiday season.
It's all over the country, but particularly in the clinic, yes, we have a few cases that presented themselves.
GPs say COVID is still in the community and are reminding people to not be complacent.
The only ways that we can protect ourselves is by immunising ourselves, is number one. Number two is make sure that you have mask on, you clean, you wash your hands and you keep a distance.
While state-based reporting has been halted nationally in the past week, an average of more than 900 cases a day were detected. Aged care homes say vulnerability is still a factor, with precautions like rat tests and masks still mandatory.
And in nursing homes in particular, where we get people who visit who might not have visited all year, people come from out of town to see their relatives and friends, the risk certainly does go up a little bit around Christmas time.
And it's not just residents at aged care centres, the flow-on effects of the virus still continuing through to operations.
One of the biggest risks is our staff getting COVID, because if we knock a few staff out of the roster, that can be really hard to backfill as well.
The community is urged to take extra care around those that are vulnerable and consider getting their boosters.
If you got the illness, contact your GP as soon as you can.
Marla Summer, 7 News.
The North East Rail Line has been labelled the problem child of the state. Benambra MP Bill Tilley has said country Victorians are being treated as second-class citizens when it comes to the Albury to Melbourne V-Line service. He says despite promises from the state government, the punctuality and service continue to decline. Mr Tilley says it comes as the Department of Transport's annual report was released and boasted a faster, smoother journey for North East Line commuters, but claims this is far from reality.
An Australian native not usually seen in the North East has made a rare appearance. A dingo pup was captured running along the road during a drive from Bogong to Mount Beauty last night. Witnesses describe the sight as amazing, the pup running along for about 2 minutes before it dashed into the bush.
Well, Kirsty joins us now for a look at today's weather. And Kirsty, it was hot, humid, with a few showers around today.
That's right, Maddie and Nick, a little bit of everything today. Hello, everyone. It's been warm for the northeast, as Maddie said. Temperatures sitting more or less on their November average, with humid weather around this morning as well. That was ahead of those approaching showers first thing this morning and those storms and lightning that moved through into the northeast at around 11 a.m. Beechworth 28, Culcairn a top of 30 degrees today, with winds gusting up to almost 40 kilometres an hour out of the east and the northeast. Rutherglen had a top of 26 degrees and Bright had a maximum of 23. Today's showers will continue overnight tonight. We could see heavy bursts of rain tomorrow. At this stage, we're expecting anywhere between about 2 and 10 millimetres for the middle of our working week. I'll take a look at Wednesday's weather forecast a little later on in the bulletin.
A wet night on the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Kirsty.
Still to come in 7 News, up-and-coming rescue heroes put through their paces.
And a petition against plans for a strip club in one of Albury's busiest shopping areas.
Welcome back. The proposed opening of a strip club on Olive Street in Albury has been met with fierce opposition. Local business Olive Health Foods is collecting signatures to fight the plans to open the venue in the vacant shop next door. The health food shop and several other local businesses fear the risque venue will cause the crime rate to increase despite its position opposite Albury Police Station.
They've come in to sign it and they're actually quite gobsmacked at the idea that it's in a family part of the street. We're all about health and well-being. We're very family orientated and it's just not the most appropriate spot.
Olive Health Foods have 2 days left to collect signatures on their petition.
Budding first responders have helped in a simulated water rescue. In collaboration with Carevan and the VRA, local police took the youngsters out on Lake Hume to perform a mock rescue. The would-be rescuers learned how to administer CPR on the go and how to secure a patient into a stretcher. The exercise aims to equip the cadets with knowledge of the wilderness, first aid and boat safety.
More than 600 juniors across the Riverina, Central West, South Coast and the ACT converged on Wagga for a bumper Super Sevens carnival. The Monster tournament also gave aspiring athletes a chance to sample a new sport.
A high-performance tool, a training aid and a development asset. Tri-tag rugby has the potential to fill gaps, broaden opportunities and strengthen the game. Former NRL hero and French rugby union player Mark Gasnier gave young athletes an introduction to the exciting new sport in Wagga.
We can introduce the kids to rugby through the non-contact format and then slowly apply the appropriate skills through programs, etc., to allow them to have the best possible experience they can into the contact format.
We see it as that safety blanket for kids. They can come in, they can try the tackle. If they're not into the tackle, they can come back into tri-tag and then bounce between the two.
For players concerned about head knocks and the risk of injury, Tri-Tag Rugby provides a pathway to participation. The game is played on half a rugby field with 8 players on each team. Gasnier would like to see the multi-purpose game rolled out into schools and played year-round in the region.
You don't want to play the contact, you've got the non-contact available. And then summer, it's a lot more social, those social competitions within a club. And it allows clubs to, allow kind of new members to come and give the rugby club a try, which some otherwise wouldn't.
The clinic coincided with the annual Super Sevens Carnival at Paramore Park. More than 40 teams took part and for the first time ever, roughly 50% of participants were female.
Girls' growth and the women's growth is massive. We've got the best sevens team in the world at the moment in that female space. Our Wallaroos are winning. They just won their last 2 games.
Steph Muir, 7 News.
North Coast paddler David Alley is approaching the halfway mark of his world record attempt kayaking the length of the Murray River. He's currently ahead of the pace needed to achieve the record, averaging 16 hours in the kayak every day. The flow rate of the river, though, has caused some difficulty, as well as hidden branches, causing the kayak to capsize a couple of times. Alley needs to reach Goolwa by 10:05 a.m. on November 17 to rewrite the history books.
Still to come in 7 News, Wodonga caused an upset in women's softball.
And a baby shark scores a Hail Mary.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, Australia's springback suburbs, where it's up to 17% cheaper to buy now than 12 months ago.
Plus, a walk a day to keep the doctor away. The new research revealing how many daily steps you need to live longer.
See you in the morning.
To water polo first tonight, and round 4 has produced 2 of the best games likely to be seen all season. But the highlight came from a teenage young gun with an incredible shot and a moment he will never forget.
In a grand final rematch, Stingrays came out looking to avenge that and a round 1 loss to the Sharks. Stingrays with more intent in the opening quarter as the Sharks hung on to trail 3-2 at the first break.
With it all in front of him. Drops it in here to Shannon. Good. Oh, well done.
Pirates again getting out by 2 goals in the second, but again Sharks fought back. And it paid dividends, Sharks levelling the game 5-all at half-time before taking the lead in the third.
Cooper could have the shot back to Gould again. They're working in tandem between each other. Comes to Toby Gould, who eventually scores the goal.
Sharks up 7-6 before twice going clear by 2 goals in the last, but Stingrays refused to give up. The Rays levelling the game 9-all with just seconds left in the match. 14-year-old Toby Gould had one chance to become a hero.
Gould goes for it all, and he gets it! Oh, what a throw!
The women's also had its grand final rematch between Sharks and Pool Pirates. In one of the fiercest rivalries in local sport, the game was tough. Pirates trailing 3-2 at the first break.
Round to Bruce. Played a first game last week, a hat-trick of golds in Polkinghorne.
But the third term belonged to Pirates, scoring 3 unanswered golds, led by Samantha O'Connell.
It's a long way to go in the game, obviously, but you just sense there's not going to be a lot between them. How about that from O'Connell?
Pirates hanging on in a frantic final term to get the win 9-8. And Albury have won its first women's game of the season with a dominant display over Stingrays.
Oh, wow, what a flick shot there by Shelley.
The Tigers scoring the first 3 goals of the contest and never looked headed. Stingrays only managing to score twice as Albury claimed a big win 7-2.
Incredible coast-to-coast action as McInnes could fire away on goal. Johannes gets up, they balk, and now she scores.
Stephen Murphy, 7 News.
Defending cricket premiers Lavington sit on top of the standings after 5 rounds. In an even start to the season, every team's lost. 5 teams are equal top, while only 2 sides are yet to record a win. Deterang is the early district favourite, with Estale falling just short of their first win over the weekend. Osborne and Waller are still unbeaten in Hume cricket, while it shapes up as a pretty tough season ahead for Holbrook. And in Wangaratta and District, City Colts sit on top with Benalla, Rovers and Ovens Valley all in the top 4. Wodonga has caused the first upset of the softball season. In a shot out, the Gladiators produced a brilliant third innings to claim a thrilling 8-7 win.
Bundy Bears came into the contest unbeaten and scoring 14 runs per game. And the opening innings looked like going to script as Bears took a 2-0 lead.
Pitches, Bird back past Johnson. They'll get their first home here. Tully rounds, thinking about it. Moffat, she'll go for home. Chadwick with the throw.
Wodonga struggling to get Bears pitcher Cass Jones away with the outfielding a feature of both sides early. Still down 2-0 heading into the bottom of the third innings, Wodonga found their mojo.
Porter gets a good hit on this. Out past Moffat into space as well. At least the first. Thinks about second.
A brilliant batting performance turning momentum and the match on its head. Gladiators running in 5 runs to take a surprise 5-2 lead at the midway point of the game.
Can Jones do the same? That's a great hit by Rowdy. And Wodonga will take the lead here.
But there were more twists to come as Bears struck back in the very next innings, cutting the margin to 1.
Jones connects with this out to left field. Another challenge for Baker. Past her, and the Bears will get home and tie the game with Patterson.
Wodonga pressing ahead again as the match headed down to the wire with 1 innings to play. Bears managing to tie the game once more, but Wodonga had the resilience to record a second and crucial win, 8-7.
And Wodonga here going to have a couple of runners on first and second.
Meanwhile, Grizzly Bears claimed their first win of the season, while Warriors made it a great weekend for Wodonga. After a month of action, Drop Bears are the only unbeaten side left, with Gladiators moving up inside the top 4. Stephen Murphy, 7 News.
Still to come in 7 News, Kirsty is back and she's got your local weather forecast. That's next.
Welcome back, everyone. A low-pressure trough is developing over parts of the state, causing showers and thunderstorms. Meanwhile, conditions are feeling humid for many thanks to northeasterly winds. This trough will deepen through Victoria and New South Wales on Thursday, which will cause showers to increase, as well as heighten the risk of severe thunderstorms and force heat to build. In fact, parts of our state could see temperatures as much as about 9 degrees above average for the weekend. At this stage, Thursday does look like the day for some of the heaviest rainfall, with up to 20 millimetres. Around 20 to 30 millimetres, though, is forecast across the coming week. There is a chance of heavier falls embedded within thunderstorms. Let's take a look now to our Wednesday forecast, and we will see more warm temperatures persisting tomorrow, with those showers and thunderstorms forecast during the day. The high 20s and the low 30s, with humid conditions in the morning as those showers increase into the evening. On the border, we could see 2 to 10 millimetres of rain, with similar conditions over the high country. 15 for Falls Creek, Omeo reaching 26. Heavier showers through Thursday, mainly overnight and during the early hours of the morning, where we could see up to 20 millimetres of rain falling. Around 9 a.m, those showers should begin to ease off, but remaining cloudy across the day, with those thunderstorms still rumbling around. Winds becoming light at Mansfield, 13 overnight, cloud cover trapping in some warmth of the day to a top of 26 degrees, while Wangaratta expects a maximum of 28. As we head into Friday, temperatures are expected to soar. 31 degrees for Albury, Wodonga, Cobram a top of 35. That's about 4 to 5 degrees above what we see in November. Partly cloudy, that chance of showers beginning to ease, but we could still see storm activity through the afternoon and evening. If we look ahead, well, temperatures are only forecast to increase on Saturday, 33 degrees across the border, before we see a little bit of a cooling trend into next week. Plenty of rainfall likely over the next 48 hours, though.
Yeah, plenty of rain about.
That's right.
Thanks, Kirsty.
That's your local news for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on our website or, of course, 7plus.
7 News from Melbourne is next. Enjoy your night. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.